So yeah, I'm the third French guy on scene, so on stage, sorry. So, Colin, very sorry for the massacre of English that you had this morning up to now. I'm one of the last ones, so that's the good news. I was actually a few months ago part of the industry, working with Mathieu actually and his teams, and I recently moved actually to Ernst & Young EY. Romania, and I settled down in the country. It's 5 years I'm here, so I'm actually very happy to be here. I'm not as old in the country as Colin can be, but I will stay for a while for sure. I've looked, actually I was late providing my slides. I've looked at the lineup and what information do we have in EY that can actually push a little bit further the debate and not let's say overlap too much, first of all with our competitors, and second of all with the technical part that will be presented. So just after me you will have UiPath talking and Varga talking, and this is really good news that we are automating. But what is actually the vision? And I joined EY recently, so actually I had this huge ramp up learning, let's say, period, and I had the occasion for a while to meet with some world-class leaders in the GBS industry, so and they actually gave us the right to name them. So Procter & Gamble, Bayer, Givaudan, for instance, that are really advanced in the GBS model. Where do they stay? How do we, as EY, let's say, foresee the future? So the idea here is to quickly go through the trends and afterwards to focus on people management. That's the kind of topic of the day. So there is the technological aspect and what do we do with the humans actually next to the machine. I will try to take it a different way. And what challenges do we see for us here in Romania? Challenges that we absolutely need to convert into opportunities. So we have to think about how we can overcome these challenges very soon. And I'm not, let's say, a negativist neither, so I think it was Richard actually saying it this morning, but we see a few trends, let's say, that are actually quite pushing towards what I will present and explain. Let's start with the trends. So this is a very nice picture actually, explaining what the best in class have done so far and where do they stand. So I think you will have the slides afterwards. It's not an issue, but the idea is that it goes from a very simple shared service center, monofunction, either finance or HR, usually transactional jobs, P2P, OTC, or HTR in HR. I have a BS for finance. Sorry. Afterwards, once this model is actually tested and we see that we have let's say finally, usually first labor cost arbitrage that we are seeking, and that the model is stable, we grow to multifunction SSC. So this more or less everyone in the room is aware of. The first step is the part when it starts, and it's the present actually in Romania as far as I've seen, where the SSC and the GBS, let's say, community starts to say, I want to bring value to the group. I want to bring value to the end customer. I want to bring value to the business. I want to give business insights, actually, to the business. This is where it starts to be very complicated. How do you serve, really, the business frontline, let's say? Afterwards, you consolidate, and you have center of excellence and so on. I will come back on it. And the next step is having really a global, and this is, for instance, the case for Procter & Gamble, having a global footprint. Everything that is actually in the SSC is done the same way worldwide, with actually a common governance, and even the onshore processes that are retained, let's say, from the companies that are outsourced, are actually under GBS mandate, let's say. And I will explain why it's really important. This is more or less, so find your SSC here. If If you can, you should be in the present model. If you are in the future one, congrats, but let's meet then, because not that I want to invoice you whatever, but I'd like to discover this one personally. So finance, HR, procurement, IT services, and we multiply, let's say, we do 1 regional, 2 regional, 3 regional SSCs. Then afterwards, we start splitting. So we want to have end-to-end experience on the process. We start by splitting on finance, HR, and so on, the SSC part, so how to produce the process per se, and the center of excellence. Center of excellence should be about the business, should not be about the technology. So that's a discussion we have with some clients, actually. I want to build Center of Excellence for RPA. This is the most common discussion that we have. Why don't you try to serve actually your client and build a Center of Excellence for finance, for HR processes? Because actually you gathered all these people there, you have all the data, all the process knowledge, so you have actually something that your internal client doesn't have anymore, the expertise. And you need absolutely to develop this expertise, actually in your shared service center. So create this center of excellence like this. Technology is only a mean to achieve this excellence. It's not actually a target in itself. Building robots is not a target. Building a robot with purpose is actually a target. Then afterwards, the full end-to-end process. So you gather everything that you don't have, because you are paying invoice, but you don't have the procurement actually coming with it. So you don't have the full chain, and you cannot push your full value through this. And finally, so the future stage that we see, and that we are actually working on with some clients, but didn't see it working, let's say, really properly yet, is actually these fully customer-centric services. Meaning that you have your center of excellence, you automated more or less 100% of your knowledge jobs. Okay, so meaning we had a lawyer on stage actually, and you may know that some law firms are actually completely automating right now the review of contracts and so on. Accounting, everything that is based on knowledge, let's say, as jobs, will be actually disappearing in the next few years. What remains, and this is where the GAFA, for instance, are really good, what remains is the customer experience. Okay, so if you are in front of Uber and you have an issue with your Uber, actually, you say, I have an issue, you are reimbursed, and afterwards they investigate what was the issue. Same thing with Amazon. If you have an issue with your bank today, you have to wait for the reimbursement, let's say. If you have an issue with your car, you have to give the car, they don't give you one by default, let's say, in front, and you have to wait as well if there is an issue to be reimbursed, or to be, let's say, to have your issues solved. So the customer centricity is actually what is driving today the best performers in the world, whatever the industry is. And the best ones, when we talk about Uberization, maybe actually Uberization is about customer centricity, and this is what we can expect. So what do we as EY think about, let's say, what are the main topics for the GBS in 2025? I will take only the yellow ones, I will not go through everything, but the idea, disruptive venture. How do you actually partner with some external or internal, in the case of entrepreneurship, internal capabilities that you have to create disruptive approach to your processes, to what you are handling, to your center of excellence if you have a use case already. How do you handle your talent hub? You have a global talent pool now in your SSCs, being in Asia, Latin America, in Romania, etc. How do you leverage on this? How do you create a path? How do you share the experience between these? How do you put the same experience, the same governance on these full people? Transformation hub, so I think everyone will agree on that. Capability hub, because you pulled the expertise, so what are you doing with it now? Because actually it doesn't exist anywhere else, okay? You took it from your onshore, let's say, internal clients. what do you do with this expertise? You have to build capabilities. You have to solve issues. This is where predictive analytics, for instance, will come. My favorite topic, not compliance, data, actually. So you pulled the data. What can you do with this data? This is where the, let's say, business insights that you want to bring, the added value, from my point of view, is actually emerging from the data. How can you, first of all, clean the data? Because we have an issue with data quality usually, and we have some obligations when it comes to European directives for some sectors. Let's say financial services are the first one, but it will not stop. You have to produce report on green finance with data that are actually non-financial, which are usually not very, very good quality, and so on. So, do you have it in the SSC? Please use it. Please leverage it as much as you can. I told it already. End-to-end processes means that you are in the SSC the process owners now. It shouldn't be onshore anymore. There's no way that someone 3,000 kilometers away or even more can actually know your job better than you. Okay, so the fact is you should own all the processes that you handle, and this is why you should have the end-to-end view on it, because you should be the process owner. Revenue. So revenue protector. So there is actually, I think Mathieu, it's part of the entrepreneurship program as well. There was in SocGen, there was actually a revenue leakage startup in this one. There are lots of things you can do with your data. Revenue protection is actually one of them. Okay, so to identify the mispayments of invoice should be, of course, in your P2P process. And the same way, since you are protecting the revenues, either you are mastering your cost, and this is the profitability optimizers. We have one client actually I put it there, acquisitions and divestiture. I know only one shared service center, not yet in Romania, who actually has his M&A front office in GBS. So it's already building more value. They are growing actually not so much organically, only by external acquisitions, and it's part of their day-to-day job to buy some other companies, and they are doing it actually with GBS because it's a process actually to buy a company to integrate in your huge SAP setup. The 4 trends that we isolated, let's say in this case, GBS as a transformation engine. So I will come back on it. GBS should have, GBS, Global Business Services, meaning not only the shared service center, but some GBS strategies are also using BPO resources. Okay, so outsourcing a part of their activity. So we take the full frame. GBS is your Global Business Services as a group should actually leverage the data they have and the process they have and be the transformation engine. It cannot happen somewhere else. Even the relationship with the client, we are seeing in Stack EYC in the past, you should have the end-to-end process at the end, and you should actually be able to front your customer from the very beginning. So the transformation engine should be in GBS. End-to-end process enablement, I already told it. Digitalization, so GBS actually structure are much more sensitive to the digitalization or digitization. It depends where you stand on your process. Digitization, what I do the same way I put it, let's say, on a digital way. Digitalizing is reviewing my full end-to-end. So I'm not doing the same anymore. I'm disrupting my process and putting a digital way of doing it. So digitalization in this case, actually, with the large number of people and the organization that you have, some GBS structure are 10, 15, 20, even 25% of the workforce of the group. So you actually have the levers here. And as I was saying, face your customer, so the external one. So go beyond your internal customer and face the external customer, because this is where actually you are bringing value. Can you enhance the customer experience of your group, whatever sector you are working with? you should be able to actually see this, and it's disrupted a lot right now with players like FinTech OS, for instance, which are actually disrupting right now the financial services, insurance mostly, client onboarding process. So if you want to ensure that you actually catch up with this kind of thing, it's already happening today. It's Romanian. FinTech OS is a Romanian company, and they have already lots of clients across Europe. They are growing very fast, and this is something that actually is the trend. So the customer experience. How do you enhance the relationship with your customer? Clear mandate for GBS. So I will reuse SocGen word, the future is you, but I will add as well as a consultant and ensure the budget is yours as well. Because sometimes it happens that, yeah, you have the empowerment, and we talk about a lot this morning about empowerment. We talk about autonomy, how to give actually our people more autonomy so that they have more, let's say, meaningful experience in our companies and so on. But if you don't have the means to actually do what you want to do, and you have to ask Paris, London, Frankfurt, or wherever your headquarters is, Vienna, then what's for you in it? Sorry. Okay, so we push clearly to have the GBS structure attached to the CEO of the group, not to the CFO, not to the CHRO, etc., and to have a clear mandate. Your structure should follow your strategy. You should see where you want to be in the future and see how to go there, and not continuously improve what you do. So this is good for the process, not for the strategy. One size may not fit all, yeah. This is why we have consultants on the place, so that we can help you fitting this. And of course, outsourcing to a third party, as I was telling, is just a mean to achieve, not an objective in itself. I need to go faster because I'd like to spend a bit of time on people. So maybe you already have seen this kind of picture. The roles that we foresee, the roles that we see staying. So head of SSC, good news, will stay for the ones in the room. Internal audit as well, sorry. But of course, all the people that are working on structuring the data, and we see lots of data scientist positions open, all the people that will actually control this full chain, let's say, value chains, all the people that will deal with the process are actually the new jobs that we need to create. This requires a lot of skills, and not technical ones usually. So you don't need to know accounting. I'm sorry for the ACCA representative in the room. Accounting is not the future. What you do with accounting actually is way different. Few facts. I'm sure you know some of them. Mathieu and some other actually speakers reminded that 65% of children entering school today will end up doing a job that doesn't exist yet. So it was 2063, I think, the first presentation, if I'm not wrong, the singularity point. We didn't place it on a map, to be fully honest. But yeah, this will happen as well. Flexible working. How do you go from work from home to work from anywhere? Do you really need? We know that most of the employees in the next 10, 20 years, there is a huge trend already in the Western Europe, are actually freelancers. Can you handle this as a company? Are you sure you need to have your guys onboarded in your actual buildings? Okay, so this is where really you have to project yourself, not solve you have to solve the issues of today, because there are, but try to solve the issues of tomorrow at the same time. Because, so, we didn't have the figure for this year, so I took the one from last year. 10 to 15% salary increase in the finance functions in SSC's ABSL study from last year. Labor arbitrage is less and less let's say, the first reason why you should have a GBS strategy. Are you sure that efficiency is in the heart of your strategy today for your group, and do you provide this? Attrition, 25% last year, increased a bit, and believe me, it will not stop. It will not stop. I saw something like more than 30% of people spend less than 1 year in their first job. You add to this attrition all the movements you have, natural movements in your company, promotions and so on. And how do you retain the good people? Okay, so people are moving a lot, so you need to go to something. HR needs to change their view. There was a joke that I've seen that human resources are transferring human into resources. This should not be a joke anymore. We need to do something about it, and we need to push it. I will show you a slide afterwards, but as well, I have a colleague who will this afternoon in one of the breakout sessions will discuss about how to retain from a tax perspective, and believe me, it's very interesting, even if it's tax. From a tax perspective, how you can retain people. There are lots of means, and some of them actually you may not know, and Romanian law actually legal framework allows you to do so. Your environment, can you support work from anywhere? I mentioned it, but are you future-proofed? Because whatever will happen in the next year, at least in Romania, are you sure you can handle it properly? And talent pool shrinking. So I'm happy that we have university working with ABSL, but that's a fact that the talent pool in Romania is actually shrinking today, because people are going away much more than they come. We have less immigrants like me than immigrants like the 1 point something million we saw earlier. So try to think about how intelligent automation at large can help you do this. Do you train or retain the people? And what about upskilling? I think it's something that everyone is thinking about today. Just for you to have a glimpse, we have a tool that we developed internally in EY in Bucharest. Actually, it's a Romanian one as well, which is called People Analytics. That is actually a predictive tool for your HR function. Okay, so you can actually compute the cost of your attrition. You can as well pinpoint the reasons why people are leaving, and you can as well predict with a name on it who will be the next one. It works. We use it in EY actually, so it's back tested and it works pretty well. But we did a computation based on statistics in Romania, and this is actually the cost of private sector, 2.4 billion euros per year, based on average statistics. Okay, so take your share. 26% is actually less than anyone I've met in the sector. So I suppose the one who are declaring their attrition are forgetting some resignation. But this is actually the figure we computed with only 20%, which is not because GBS and SSCs are actually higher than the market. So this is more private sector in Romania. Thank you very much. I say I will not take questions, so I will not, and my time is actually up. I have a red screen there telling me that. But for anyone who wants to talk about what I present and go in deeper details, don't hesitate, I will be here afterwards, and you can contact me anyway. Thank you very much.